and boom goes the dynamite.
And welcome back to another edition of The Daily Dive, the only Monday through Friday live lacrosse talk show. I'm your host, Michael Carbellis. To everyone on the West Coast, good morning. To everyone on the East Coast, good afternoon. It's time for lunch and some lacrosse talk. On today's show, our top story will be, are the Buffalo Bandits puppy guarding? If you've heard the term in basketball, it may rub you the wrong way if you're a Buffalo fan. I'll explain why it could be an issue. In our Fanatics segments, our all-daily dive first team will be announced. Now, obviously, the second team got controversial and not surprising, but it's what I believe. Our last brew, presented by B-Riz Coffee Company, code Daily Dive, will be pre-order your Meta Pros. That's right, Fantasy Lacrosse, Fantasy NLL is very close to being upon us. Head to Daily Dive Lax on social media and click the Our Store tab and through the link tree. When you do that, the entire merchandise for Daily Dive with this logo is at your disposal. So check it out. Again, the link tree on our social media bios at Daily Dive Lax. Thank you so much. Support the show as we grow the game. And our top story presented by Daily Dive Store is, are the Bandits puppy guarding? I want to bring this image up to you and let you see it. So, Kyle Arbuckle, I spelled that wrong, of course I did. Make sure I get this in here correctly. Kyle Arbuckle, or Arbuckle, I hope I'm saying it correctly, so I'm just going to call him Kyle. Kyle said the Bandits' defense and penalty killing defense is basically 4 or 5 goalies in front of a goalie, made for boring zone play. No one is getting a pass through there and having a quick stick on a goalie. Hence the 4 and 8 goals by Toronto in 2 hours of lacrosse. Basketball put in the key to restrict players from entering and staying in there for various reasons. This 4 or 5 player goalie setup has to go. The 2 players outside the crease on both posts are just more goalies. They soak a lot of shots. Not too exciting either. Okay. This right here is a conversation that, as the game grows, I don't know if people are going to like this or love this. But again, if you've ever heard of the term 3 seconds in the paint, it's maybe 5, but I think it's 3 seconds in the paint in the NBA. It's basically what we know on the streets, as far as my streets are concerned, of white suburbia. I'm kidding, that's a lie. But they're known as, it's called puppy guarding. Like, don't puppy guard the rim. You know, you can't stay in there for too long. It's like when you're playing tag or like something like that in school. They say, hey, don't be puppy guarding the home base. It's basically like you have an unfair advantage. So this right here, notice number 21. I believe it doesn't look like Klucha. I'm not going to try to guess who number 21 is. We see Matt Vince, and you see one player to the right, number 15, one player to the left. His feet are obviously right there in the crease. Now, I looked at the NLL rules on the NLL website. This is not a violation. The only violation of the crease is when a player from the offense is on it. So let's say one of these Blue Rock jerseys were in here, and the player took a shot, then it's a loss of possession, and the shot does not count. But this right here for the defense is allowed. The puppy guarding, if you will. Now, if you don't think that's bad, and you think, okay, well, you know, that's nothing special, I'm going to show you something else that makes this guy's point. Let me get to it. Bear with me here. Our next one will come from the NLL's official page. Hold on. This is from the NLL on Instagram. So let's get the big version of it so you can see it. Notice right here, the crease is obviously blue. There were 2 Bandits players. Oh, wow, that's the wrong one. There it is. That's the wrong one, too. There were 2 Bandits players. I'm messing this up completely. That's not what I wanted. Oh, you get it. There are 2 Bandits players inside the crease, okay? Along with Matt Vince. I personally am not a fan of that, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I do not believe it is fair to the sport. I don't believe this right here is a good thing for the sports. In fact, I'm sorry for all that confusion right there, but I noticed as I was watching the game that the rule was not in place. And it had never, I watched the NFL for like 2 years now. I know, go figure. I watched the NFL for like 2 years now, and I'll be honest, that rubbed me the wrong way. Because as a basketball fan, I understand the unfair advantages that can cause. Now, to the cross players' credits, here is Dallas. Let's call him Dallas. Bingo. I agree, Kyle. Buffalo's defense is so good it physically takes away any and all good goal-scoring lanes. Reminiscent of the late 90s, early 2000s Rock Dynasty, only better. Definitely not an entertaining brand of box. If I coached against them, this made me laugh. If I coached against them, every bad angle shot or shots late in the 30-second shot clock with no chance would be into the thighs and midsections of Buffalo's defenders. If they want to soak shots, let them soak a few. Let them soak a few Charlie horses and blown testes. I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, this is what we're going to allow. I guess you are kind of asking for it, and I don't know if a player would actually do it to another player, but again, this right here, I get it. And you also have to remember who the coach of the Buffalo Bandits is John Tavares. He's no stranger to scoring, and I think the scorer who puts this on there as his defense or draws this up knows what he's talking about. I mean, John Tavares did not think of this. I just thought it was very peculiar that situation came up. Again, I don't know if I'm for or against it, but like Kyle Arbuckle said on Facebook, he'll let you be the judge. But again, I can see both sides of it. Are they puppy guarding? We may have to put that up on the poll with some pictures. I think they are, but I also think I have to differentiate lacrosse and basketball. Just because it's a hybrid of basketball does not mean it has to be the same. They can be different. As much as that pains me to say. I do understand his point, though. All right. When I come back to Daily Dive, we'll be talking about the all Daily Dive first team. Are you ready to revel some feathers, gang? Well, let's do it on the other side. No, I can't wait to talk about who was the other forward not named Dane Smith in our first team. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Daily Dive here on YouTube and Twitter. Sorry, I have to make sure I get that tweet out to make sure that people are going to see that. I'm terrible. Go to Fanatics by clicking the link tree in our social media bio on Daily Dive Lax. When you do so, You click the Fanatics logo and shop the awesome merchandise from all sports, not just the NLL. If you purchase something, it helps us our show tremendously. We thank you so much for that. And by the way, I did make a tweet that said I got a white NLL hoodie, which I am looking at right now. I will not unveil on the show yet. But the thing only comes in black on Fanatics websites. And people are saying, oh, that's because you bought it from Fanatics. And here's what I will tell you. If you ever go into NBAstore.com or NFLshop.com, it's literally a Fanatics experience. If you go to Fanatics.com, that same website will take you to the NFLshop.com. They're all the same link, which is why if you go to our link tree, we get credit for it because it's like you're going through us. Like, oh, they found out about Fanatics through us. So we get like a percentage of the pie there. But don't be fooled by thinking, oh, you bought it from Fanatics. Well, where else would I buy an NLL hoodie? You know, especially if I'm not going to the games. Come on, man. I'm in Savannah, Georgia. I'm 4 hours away from Atlanta. That's hard to do. I work a day job, a night job, but you get it. Okay. Yesterday on the show, I pissed off somebody named Dan Lomas. And if you don't know who Dan Lomas is, he plays for the New York Riptide. And let's get Dan Lomas' stats for this year. I don't want to sell Dan short here. Dan Lomas had 136 points, 105 loose balls, 97. Oh, I'm sorry. That was Jeff Teat's stats. So silly me. I didn't know Dan Lomas had 97 turnovers. Who would ever give anybody like 97 turnovers at first team spot? God forbid, not me. No, Dan Lomas, I'm so mean. He's a forward, and Dan this season scored 12 more points than you and I did. He also had 11 of his own turnovers. Wow, okay, cool. So, here, Dan Lomas said, so our first team daily dive yesterday was, our second team daily dive, was Jeff Teat, Connor Fields, 97 and 70 turnovers respectively, Ian McKay for transition, Graham Hossick and Brad Creed for defensemen, and Nick Rose for goalie. He said, honestly, I think second team is too high for Jeff Teat, third or fourth at best. It's funny that not only did he tweet that, because I obviously saw the sarcasm. I can see straight through that. That was funny. That was cute. What I did not like was Dan Teat, Jeff Teat's father, liking that tweet. And I'm going to tell you why. That is the second time Dan Teat has ever liked anything related to Daily Dive. And the first thing, I don't remember what it was, but it was also like some sarcastic Daily Dive sucks kind of thing. So I get it. And Dan Lewis did not say that because Dan Lewis knows better because, as you know, I'm a stat reader. And 12, shut up. No. So that's why people are not happy because Jeff Teat, Mr. 97 turnovers and 136 points, to be fair, was not on the first team. So, who is on the first team? You're welcome. There. Boom. Pow. Weep. Cry. Dane Smith and who is this? Tom Schreiber. Not a scrub by any means. Zach Courier is our first team transition player. Latrell Harris and Reed Bowering are our defensive players. And Christian Del Bianco is your all Daily Dive first team. Shout out Christian Del Bianco, friend of the show on Twitter at least. But not of the show because he blocked the show on Twitter. But he follows me, which still blows. It makes no sense to me, but I understand it. Not really. So there's that. Again, I'll make these stats. I know stats are not the only thing that matter here, but to me, if you have again 97 turnovers, I cannot reward you. Tom Schreiber had 46 turnovers and just 20 less points. I think I'll give the edge to Tom Schreiber, and I was the one who said Tom Schreiber had a low shooting percentage this year. So let's get to Tom Schreiber's shooting percentage. Tom had an 18.8. Jeff had a 22.6. Not a big enough gap to put Jeff over Tom. So I gave Tom Schreiber the edge. And, of course, Dane Smith with our show's MVP. Zach Courier won transition player of the year for us. Christian Del Bianco won Goalie of the Year. And speaking of MVPs going to Dane Smith, I have been crucified on this here show for implying that Dane Smith is the MVP. In fact, I have heard from a person who votes for the darn thing that Dane Smith was third on his list behind Jeff Teat and number 1 Christian Del Bianco. I called him the media's darling. But what do the fans think about Mr. Christian Del Bianco? Well, according to the NLL on Instagram, 31% say Christian Del Bianco. 33% say Jeff Teat, which blows my mind. Even I would give Christian Del Bianco the nod over Jeff Teat. And number 1, God, who would that leave left? Oh, Dane Smith has 36% of the fan votes. It's almost like what I said. The media was favoring Calgary. Most of those awards had at least one Calgary Roughnecks affiliated person. Not Bandits. I didn't think I saw any Seals recognized. Not Rock. It was mostly all Calgary Roughnecks and a few Bandits and a couple Rock. But make no mistake, Calgary was heavily favored on this media list, on this award finalists. So, again, Dane Smith, Tom Schreiber, the 2 best forwards in lacrosse this year, not Jeff Teat. Zach Currier, transition, Latrell Harris, Reed Bowering, defenseman, and Christian Del Bianco, the goalie. Now, I will say this. If there was a third team of forwards, I do have to give the nod to one Robert Church, who had 51 goals this season, which is absolutely insane. In fact, that was good enough for third in the NLL. Unfortunately, it was not enough because Connor Fields, I felt, deserved the nod over Robert Church, who only had 43 turnovers. God, woo! 97 is a lot of turnovers. I'm just saying. No one's giving Mitch Jones an MVP nod. He had 100 of those puppies. All for Jeff Teat. And to the person who said that Mike Trout, like I should Google the name Mike Trout. No, I never said Major League Baseball gave out awards to guys who didn't make the playoffs. Because here's the thing. Baseball stinks, okay? NBA, NHL, and NFL MVP award finalists usually make the playoffs like 9 times out of 10. I don't think Jeff Teat's 97 turnovers should be an exception to that rule. I'm sorry. 136 points is great. I'll take Tom Schreiber this season. I'm not saying it as a franchise builder or cornerstone. I'm saying Tom Schreiber, to me, was better than Jeff Teat. And now I've been canceled. I can already tell. It's whatever. When I come back, we're talking fantasy lacrosse from the PLL side and the NLL, as you can now pre-order your Meta Pros. Hey, Nerd Wallets. No, not Nerd Wallet. Nerds Talking next. Welcome back to this Thursday edition of Daily Dive. And I want to also say awesome thank you to the support I've been getting the last few days from the show. I think Christian Del Bianco has helped the show grow a little bit the last few days. I've been getting some nice messages and some nice tweets about it, so appreciate you guys for tuning in. I don't deserve you guys. Okay, so Last Brew presented by Beer's Coffee Company. If you like coffee and you need new flavors because your mornings are boring, go to Beer's Coffee Company. It's beerscoffeeco.com. Enter the code DailyDive at checkout when you try their awesome flavors. It's coffee for gamers, by gamers, and, of course, Lacrosse and Daily Dive fans. You can now pre-order your Meta Pros from Meta Varsity. That's right. Look at this. This is great. Let me zoom in on this puppy a little bit more. So basically, wait. That's what I need. So remember when we teased this a while back? Oh yeah, Loud Thompson. Let me rip that open. That's gross. But Zach Courier, not a bad deal there. Remember when I told you guys about this thing? And like we were kind of like in the building process of this awesome website. Again, the website is very well designed. Follow these guys at Play Meta Varsity on Instagram. I believe it's Meta Varsity on Twitter. Oh, it's Play Meta Varsity on Twitter as well. So there you go. This is from the Instagram though. And it's just coming soon. Follow to stay tuned for when you can rip open your packs. Now, this is probably, like I said, virtually. But I like this. Look at this Loud Thompson. We get an idea of how the card is going to look. Oh, come on. Oh, look at that, the other show. Okay, good. That's what I did the first time. So basically, you see like Loud Thompson, City, Georgia, position forward. Not sure what this means right here. Something locked. And notice that the card is not numbered, unless that is a number right there that we can't tell. But I wonder like how many people are going to have a Loud Thompson card. Or is he like obviously defense has not been added. This guy down here, this is funny. It's actually Riley Hutchcraft. And you notice all these players, I don't know if they're going to have the pictures, but this right here does not show the pictures, obviously, near the Loud Thompsons. There's Zach Courier, get position is transition. City is Calgary, locked in that weird little symbol right there. I feel like it's blurred out for a reason. An LFPA logo and a Meta Varsity logo. Oh, yeah, Mitch the Snoo. I didn't realize Mitch the Snoo was on here. I'm dumb. Mitch the Snoo from the Toronto Rock. I like the orangish, reddish jersey right there. See Toronto, number 12. Defense. Now, this is interesting. Why is this right here this time? I'm just trying to pick it apart. But there it is. And, of course, you can replace, remove. I don't know which of them when they clicked on here. But, yeah, and this is Riley Hutchcraft, like I said. And this person's obviously missing defense. I think this right here, who is this guy? I wonder if it's the Hogan Anico because he's diving towards the crease. Could be, no, because Zach Curry's over here. I don't know who this is. But we don't know, obviously, yet. I think it could just be a generic little card. But, hey, I'm excited. Now, compare that with the PLL. I do not have a graphic here. What I do have is a website because I refuse to download their app just yet. Their website, because they're advertising their weekly fantasy once again. Premier Lacrosse League Weekly Fantasy. Build the ultimate lineup. In fact, let me just do this for you guys. I'll do it. Why not? Like, we've already done a whole bunch of pandering on the show anyways. So I'm going to go to PLL Fantasy on I don't want Premier League. Hold on. PLL Weekly Fantasy. I'm going to show this for you guys. How you can see it on this. This looks way different than Chrome. This is weird. I'll take it though. Let me show this real quick so you guys can see it. Here we go. All right. Sorry about that. So we're going to take a little ride on this. And let's look at this website for you guys. Again, we're breaking down the difference. And obviously, PLL, you're going to find is a lot different story here. That's not a lot of words. Build the perfect lineup. Weekly Fantasy gives fans the flexibility to create the perfect team. The first update competitors will notice is the larger 7-player lineup with 2 attackmen, 2 midfielders, 1 face-off, 1 defender, and 1 goalie. And also the salary cap this year as well. Unlike last year's tiered system, fans can now create their lineup from any combination of players so long as they fill all lineup positions and remain under the salary cap. There you see right there. Join groups. You see, of course, the Lacrosse Network. This season, there are more ways for fans to put their lineup to the test. In addition to challenging friends directly, fans can now join public groups. Public groups reflect the top scores from fan communities throughout the PLL universe. Oh, they have a universe now. Good. Paul Rabel's creating a universe. Fantastic. So there you go. There's that. I thought I'd compare the two. So I kind of like PLLs, but I don't know if I like it more. Because again, we have not seen the NLL. On the surface, it appears the PLL is more advanced at this point because obviously the NLL is still in its beta process. I'm an alpha. But I'm interested to see how Men of Varsity does this thing out. I'm interested to see the growth of this, and I hope that you guys are too. Again, you can pre-order these Meta Pros, these athletes from the Meta Varsity now. I might have to do that tomorrow. I get paid tomorrow, and I'm living check by check. Chain on my neck. No, I'm kidding. But no, I think that this is a good thing for both leagues. I like how they're different. I do like the idea of salary cap, but to me, like it mimics daily fantasy too much. I almost feels like the NLLs is more original. Just saying. And you should have seen Paul Rabel kissing the bum of Pat McAfee. So I'm a Pat McAfee show fan. Great show on YouTube. And they've recently been known as a sellout because they have announced their removal to ESPN. Their transition to ESPN. So Paul Rabel says, "Oh, I cannot wait to see you guys." And shut up. This show should now be called the Daily What Did Paul Rabel Do Stupid This Week show. I'm just saying. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed the show today. This has been one of my more fun shows. We had a few mess ups, but we're good. We have All Daily Diet First Team, which will be posted immediately. We've got the Puppy Guarding Bandits. We also have Fantasy Lacrosse. This has been a fun show. Thanks to everyone that watches the show. And to everyone that comes on the show as a guest, thank you for that as well. And for all the people behind the scenes, thank you. I'm your host, Michael Carvalho, saying we'll see you tomorrow to give an official prediction and a full preview of Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals between Calgary, boo, and the Colorado Mammoth. See you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. Bye.